Hello, everyone, and namaskar. So, today I decided to take a break from the discourses of P.R. Sarkar, and instead I wanted to share with you a story that was written by one of the monks that was around when P.R. Sarkar was running his organization so that you can get a better understanding of his personality. I purchased this book with these stories on Amazon, and I encourage you all to purchase the book if you like these stories. And the title of the book is Ashutosh Baba, Memoirs of Acharya Ramananda Avadhuta. And the first story in the book, and I plan to read all of them little by little. I can't do them all in one podcast because there's just too many of them. There are over 100 of them. I wanted to read the first one to you, and it's titled The White Lotus. And it goes like this. In the fall of 1963, when I was 19, I had my first opportunity to accompany Baba on field walk. When I reached the Jamalpur Jagrati, Baba's PA, personal assistant, Dada Avadhuta, told me that I would be in the first group that evening, the group that would accompany Baba from his house to the tiger's grave. In those days, there were 3 groups. The first group would accompany Baba to the grave and leave him there. The second group would wait for Baba on the grave and would sit with him until he was ready to go back. The third group would come later to accompany Baba back to his house. There were 2 other Margis in the first group that evening. One of them was Ram Bahadur Singh, a police and superintendent whom I knew quite well. He was a staunch devotee and a scrupulously honest man who would not accept bribes and was therefore transferred frequently by his immoral bosses. After I prostrated in front of Baba's door, Ram Bahadur explained to me that there was a rule that we should wait outside the gate rather than outside the door. When I asked him why we needed to wait so far from the door, he explained that Baba lived there with his family. The rule was to protect his family's privacy. When Baba came out a few minutes later, he asked me straight away, "Did Avadhuta not tell you about my rule? It is not permissible to do sastang pranam inside the gate, as you have done. Anyhow, you didn't know about the rule, so you are excused." Baba then started walking in the direction of the field, and we followed after him. As soon as we set off, I started noticing a strong fragrance coming from Baba's body. It was the natural fragrance of a flower that I couldn't recognize. It was very distinct and very intoxicating, almost overwhelming. Now, it was Baba's habit to walk very fast. We almost had to run to keep up. While I was hurrying to keep pace, I asked Ram Bahadur if he smelled anything unusual. "Yes," he said. "Such a beautiful fragrance is coming from Baba's body. It is driving me mad. I can hardly think of anything else." We started talking about the fragrance, which to us seemed a kind of miracle. And by the time we reached the railway bridge, we had fallen a little ways behind. Baba stopped for a moment and called out to us, "Where are you? What kind of conspiracy are you hatching back there?" When we caught up again, he asked us why we had fallen behind and what we had been discussing. Ram Bahadur was very bold by nature. He said, "Baba, ever since we started our walk, we have been aware of a beautiful fragrance. We were enjoying that fragrance and talking about it, and that is why we were delayed. It is coming from you." "I never use any fragrance," Baba said. "I only use life buoy soap and coconut oil. Only the simplest natural things. How could there be any such fragrance coming from me? Are you not imagining it?" "No, Baba, we all smell it." Baba resumed walking. After a few moments, he said, "Okay, if you're all sure that you are smelling some beautiful fragrance, then each of you tell me which flower you think it is. Unless you think that it is an artificial fragrance." "No, Baba, it seems to be the fragrance of some flower." "Then which flower is it?" But none of us could say. We can only tell Baba how beautiful the fragrance was. At the end of the bridge, he turned to us and said, "Who is the youngest among you?" They both pointed to me. Baba nodded and asked the two of them to try to name the flower they were smelling. One by one, they guessed different names such as Queen of the Night, Rose, and so on. But Baba kept saying, "No, it's not that. That's not right either." And as they named different flowers, Baba talked about their respective fragrances, giving various details to show why it could not be those flowers. Finally, he turned to me and said, "Yes, he seems to be the youngest. Neither of you could tell me which flower it is, but I think this young boy will be able to tell me the correct name. Since you insist that this fragrance is coming from my body, even though I don't use any fragrance, we will conduct a test. Come here, my boy. Stand here." I came and stood just in front of Baba. "I will place my hand on your head, and after 10 seconds, you will see a bud, but you will not recognize the flower. After 15 seconds, it will begin to blossom, and after 45 seconds, you will be able to name it. As soon as you identify the flower, I will remove my hand. If I keep my hand there any longer, your attention will be diverted, and you may not be able to remain on your feet. So I will give you 45 seconds. Baba placed his hand on my head, and I started seeing the bud of a flower. "Can you see it?" he asked. "Yes, Baba." "You will be able to see it whether your eyes are open or closed. It doesn't matter. Continue to concentrate on the flower." "Has it bloomed?" he asked. "Yes, Baba. It is fully bloomed." "Do you recognize the flower?" "Yes, Baba. It is a white lotus." Baba removed his hand from my head, and the vision disappeared. "Yes, you are correct. It is a white lotus. I am very fond of the fragrance of the white lotus, and I love to sit on it. When you learn the practice of Dhyan, you will understand the significance of this." As we resumed our walk, Baba began talking about the botanical characteristics and history of the white lotus. The scent continued for the duration of the field walk, some 2.5 hours. Thank you.